Welcome to COWORK by Office Divvy. I do ask that you don't check in yet on Foursquare. We're going to do that later as a group. A little bit about the place. Behind you is the restrooms. You need those. I can't tell you to turn your cell phones off because obviously we have to use them for Foursquare. So if you do get any calls or anything, please excuse yourself. And I'm Mark Woods, also known as Tikitender. I'm here to teach you a little bit about, or to help you learn a little bit about Foursquare and small business. I was an early adopter of location-based social networking. Before Foursquare, I used Brightkite. You might remember Brightkite. And also Looped, which was very popular with Apple users. And I actually started using, well, I'm not going to tell you when I started using Foursquare because I'm going to ruin my test question later. So, we're going to talk today a little bit about the history of Foursquare. Then we're going to do a little bit of user experience, and then small business applications, and then we'll have a few minutes of question and answers afterwards. So, who wants to tell me what Foursquare is? Anybody? Volunteers?
Location-based social networking.
Everybody agree with that? Brad, you're a great student because that's exactly what I had written down.
What did you? How did you answer, Brad?
Location-based.
Location-based. Okay.
Location-based social networking.
Nice.
So we're going to talk a little bit about how it works later.
Copy off of Brad.
Brad gets a gold star.
Or a badge. We're not sure. We'll find out.
So we're going to talk a little bit, yeah, badge. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of Foursquare, very briefly. So along the same lines, anybody wants to throw out some dates that Foursquare launched?
2009.
We have a 2009. Anybody else have a guess?
2006.
Wow, Maria.
Take me way back.
She's watched Price is Right,
2010.
not at all, because she went
I will go
way
to
too
2010.
low.
2007.
I mean, I first thought of the concept back in 1978.
How about you, Lisa? We'll round it out. Do you have a guess?
I'm just gonna, because of my Price is Right watching, I'm gonna say 2008.
2008?
Just a little lower than what I think the guess is.
The initial concept for
Tamika?
Foursquare,
I've already
Tamika guessed
answered.
2007.
Okay.
The initial concept for Foursquare was created at NYU by a student named Dennis Crowley in the year 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
But nobody was wrong.
right. Because he thought about it. He brought it
he
to
did.
life in 2000.
It was called Dodgeball,
Yeah.
Oh.
and it was text-based. So you would text your location, and it would return a text to you saying who's close to you.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah, I remember that.
I never used it, but that's something that was around. Dodgeball was purchased by Google in 2005, and then a few years later in 2009 they discontinued Dodgeball and launched Google Latitude, which a lot of people have used. They used to be launched on
They pulled the plug on that.
yeah, they
I
launched that on
appreciated that
Android.
actually.
It was on Android phones a lot.
Right.
And then they pulled the plug in 2013 along with a few of their other
Right.
core items like Google Reader, unfortunately, because I loved it. So, Crowley actually launched Foursquare as we know it in March of 2009. So Kai gets the big gold star for today, for this question. Currently, Foursquare has 33 million users, which is actually relatively small compared to Instagram, which is 150 million. Twitter, which is 200 million, and the granddaddy of them all, Facebook, which is 1.2 billion registered users all over the world. So that's a little bit.
Do you say registered losers or registered?
I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
So that's a little bit about the history of Foursquare and how we got to where we are today. So it is location-based social networking. Does anyone use Foursquare here? Everybody? Everybody knows about how to use Foursquare.
I think Maria just got on last night.
So we don't have to worry about how to
I don't think
ago.
that was necessary.
No, it's important.
To make the mark.
we don't have to worry about how to use it and that sort of thing at this point. So users check into venues. Venues can be created by the user or by the business. That's important. It can be created by the user or by the business, and we'll talk about that later. Check-ins earn users points, badges, and mayorships. Points, I think, in my use at least, have kind of become not really a big deal anymore. You don't really care how many points you have. But the mayorships can be very big, especially if the venues are using them properly, because they can get you stuff. Sometimes free, sometimes discounted, that sort of thing. So we can look up here. We'll see my profile. You can see I've been a relatively active user of Foursquare over the years, 53 badges, 43 mayorships, that sort of thing. I have 4,515 check-ins over time. I started using Foursquare in November of 2009. So I was very early on. 2009 was a great year for social media in Flagler County, as Kai and Lisa know. So this is this basically is how the profile looks on the PC or computer web-based profile. It's a little bit different experience on your phone, but you can see I was last seen at the Humidor Cigar Bar and Lounge. This is like my history here. It shows where I've been. I was here yesterday, or yeah, I guess I was I? No, it was Thursday. I was here at COWORK. Some tips, to-do list, my friends list, pages I follow, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what it looks like when you pull up somebody's profile. So at this point, we want to go ahead and check in. If you haven't, we're going to go ahead and check in to COWORK. So you can use your phones now if you'd like, or your tablets, anything location-based. Now, as you see, when you pull up your check-in, you'll see the things that are nearby. So that's important when we talk about business applications later. Now, Foursquare has become like super hyper specific. As you can see, when you go to check in to Office Divvy, COWORK by Office Divvy, you should see an option to check in, or you can actually check in for the Foursquare for Small Biz workshop. So we're going to check into that. And then, as you know, you have the option of pushing that to Facebook and Twitter. So did everyone get checked in? Anybody need help checking in?
Almost. You don't want me to make a comment right now? Like when it asks me when I'm checking in?
No, go ahead.
What I'm doing, it's okay?
Now I'm going to push it to Facebook also.
Mm-hmm. I just got a notification because I Facebook stalked Kai. He's on my star list. So anything he posts, I get a push notification.
Good thing I don't post a lot, right?
Yeah.
Imagine me doing it like you.
You mean with me? Okay, so everybody's got checked in at this point, correct?
Yes.
So now, if someone was looking at my web profile, they would see that I'm last seen at COWORK by Office Divvy. Now, what's important about this, on the it looks again a little different on the on your phone app. But when someone sees that, they say, "What? What's this COWORK at Office Divvy business? What's that all about?" And there's a link, which pushes then to the COWORK by Office Divvy venue page. And this, as you can see, shows directions, phone number, Twitter, Facebook, website, hours, whether or not it has Wi-Fi, what you could expect when you come here, co-working, training, workshops, that sort of thing. And then it shows who's been here and who the mayor is. I don't know who this guy is.
So it shows the people you're connected to, though.
Right, the friends who have been here. Now on your actual phone app, you can see who's there that you aren't connected with if they choose to share that. That's up to them. So anyway, so then there's a little map here, and you can see where it is relative to you, and that's kind of like what it looks like on Foursquare. So why do you think people use Foursquare? Anybody?
To make recommendations.
To make recommendations? Anybody else have to chime in? Why do you use Foursquare?
I've seen a lot of people get really motivated by the points and the badges,
Yeah?
but I'm concerned that that's short-lived. You know?
True. True. Anybody else?
I think I get pretty jazzed when I discover that somebody I know is where I am. Like, I think if I get to European Village and I check in and I know that Tamika's there, I think that feels pretty
Totally.
rewarding. Like,
That's the nice utility side of Foursquare, where the people you're connected with, it gives you a chance to actually get together, say hi to each other, have a drink, and things of that nature.
Well, if you remember, I don't know if you remember the commercials for Looped a few years ago, and it showed somebody like in a cafe or something or a diner check into Looped, and then they turned around and realized, the person was also there right behind them, sort of thing.
Right.
Of course, Kai and I had a fun experience one time when he and David Royale and Tim Baker and Armand all checked into Mezzaluna, and I was right around the corner, and then I came walking in, said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" Because I saw that they were all there, so that was kind of cool. So that kind of shows what people are doing. The mayorship is based on the last 60 days of check-ins, which explains why Rick is still the mayor.
60 days.
So it's based on the last 60 days of check-ins. That's whoever's checked in the most over the last 60 days is the mayor of a venue. So that sometimes gets you something, sometimes doesn't. So back to why people use Foursquare. I always say people use Foursquare and other social media because they love to share. They want to talk about what they're doing. They want to tell you where they're doing it. They want to show you what they're doing.
But signal too, Mark. I want to signal to the people I'm connected
exactly,
with.
And let them know I'm here. Right, and let them know I'm here. So, how do they share? We're going to talk about this real quick. We're going to. I just took a picture and posted it to Instagram. Okay, just as an example. But a couple things. We're going to switch over to my Facebook profile, and we're going to see. Even though there's only 33 million Foursquare users, according to the stats. Wait for it to switch over. Okay. It is my birthday, yesterday. So, you can see, when we get caught up here, I checked into COWORK at Office Divvy for the workshop for small business on Foursquare. Right? So now all of my Facebook users that I have allowed. It's trying to load Foursquare on me. There we go. All of my Facebook users that I have allowed to see such information now see that I'm here. And now COWORK by Office Divvy just got a shout out to 2,000 Facebook friends if they're paying attention. So if they chose to, they could do a couple different things. They could click and go to the Foursquare. This brings them to the Foursquare venue, which we've been to already. So we won't look at that. But also they can see pictures, etc., etc., and then they can actually ask me about it, what's this COWORK about, that sort of thing.
So the venue you checked in, their visibility got amplified to people that some of them were never ever connected to or didn't even know exist prior.
Not only, yeah, the venue itself, and again, people that aren't using Foursquare are seeing this check-in.
Right.
So that's a key as far as the amplification. At the same time, if we switch over again, I'm going to show you again also to Twitter. If we can pull it up here, I'll refresh it. So this shows I'm at COWORK by Office Divvy, and it actually shows who I'm with in this case. Where we at?
Just me.
Right? And again, an active link here that will take you to the Foursquare by Office Divvy page on Foursquare. And if you click on View Details, it just pulls up what Foursquare is. Right? And then at the same time while we were discussing, I took a photo and posted it to Instagram. Now Instagram is unique because the web-based profiles aren't quite the same as what you see on your phone. But Instagram is huge. Everybody's using the gram these days, as I like to call it. There's my profile. Check out that picture with my cockatiel.
You like your gram on the line? Is that,
yeah,
is that your deal?
the gram.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so I'm going to open up this photo. Sorry, I had to make it square, Lisa. Lisa's already made a comment. Now, I can't click it here, but on your mobile, if you were following me on Instagram and you pulled it up on your phone, it would allow you to click on this link, COWORK at Office Divvy, and it would actually pull up a map. From there, you can, if your phone's smart enough, quote unquote, you can actually click on that link, it'll pull up the map, and it'll tell you how far away this is. You can start to navigate, you can begin to go to the venue, or you could call the venue, all the information that shows up
But
on the
that's
navigator.
not tied into Foursquare though, right?
No, that's powered by Foursquare.
Oh, it is powered by Foursquare.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's cool.
So for the location that you use on Instagram comes from Foursquare.
Wow.
Thank God these guys are partnering. Please partner.
But also strange because Instagram is now owned by Facebook,
Oh, yeah.
right? So,
That is
but the
true.
location is still powered by Foursquare. So they didn't touch their independence the way that they set it up.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's nice.
And again, I also at the same time sent that Instagram photo to my Facebook page. Same information again. Not only did the 400 or 500 people on Instagram see it, but also another 2,000 people on Facebook if they're watching. And again, you can click to the COWORK by Office Divvy. So that's like an illustration of how the users who are sharing, oversharing in some cases, are actually driving traffic to a venue. Any questions about that?
So you're highlighting that as a benefit as to why a business needs to set up and claim their page on Foursquare, because whether they like it or not, people will check in there.
Exactly, exactly. And we're going to talk about that next, actually, about why businesses should be listening to this. So, any questions about kind of like the amplification and the sharing and how people are sharing out their information?
No,
All right. So, anybody who's paying attention then sees, for example, through Foursquare or Instagram in this case, oh, look, something cool's happening at this spot. I want to know about that. How do I, where is it? What are the hours? That sort of thing. So if we can, we're finished with the user experience. If anyone has any questions, we'll move on to what the business applications are. No questions? Anyone need a break?
I'll get a coffee.
Here's me.
Okay, so again, this is the web-based version of Foursquare, so it's going to be a little bit different experience here. But the gist is, when a user like me, who's an avid user of Foursquare, goes out of their hotel room, for example, and says to themselves, I'm looking for some place to get something to eat. Now this has GPS and all that, so it's going to pull up a good location. So we're going to click on food. I think it's loading. Yeah, it's loading. All right. These are suggestions for food near me. See this little map that comes up here? Now, you can see the list as we go along here on the left. The number one ranked restaurant nearby is Hooligans, according to Foursquare. And we'll talk about why that is later. But we have Hooligans, Salsas, Panera, Wendy's, Mezzaluna. These are all relatively far away. Panera is close by. You can see, basically, when you pull up the map, the ones in orange have specials. Okay? So, for example, Panera, which is a corporate special, spend $15, get $5 back. That's probably an American Express if we were to click on it. And then, same thing with Burger King. It's a credit card special. So those are corporate specials. But
That never change? In your experience, do they never change? Are they always the same?
well, it's more like it's a partnership with like American Express and Target or something like that.
Right.
So it's not really the store giving you the special. It's a special that is conditional on if you spend $50 on your American Express, you get a $5 in American Express bucks or something.
I see, I see.
Something like
Yep,
that.
gotcha.
Like a credit to your account or something like that, or points, whatever they're, whatever system that they have, some sort of reward system.
But small businesses can assign whatever special they want.
You can assign whatever special you want, which we'll talk about. So that's just kind of like an experience there. Again, and also at the same time, back to the main page, one of the things that I like as a user on Foursquare is I'll stand up and I'll say, okay, I'm here, and it will say to me things like, it's Saturday night in Palm Coast. Farley's Irish Pub is very popular on Saturday night in Palm Coast based on the amount of people that check in.
Yeah.
So that's an example of why, as a business, especially a venue like a restaurant, you should encourage people to check in, because it's like a search engine optimization, if you would. The more activity there is, the higher you appear on the list as a venue. So you can see the humidor's on here. Go humidor.
Right on.
With that picture of Luis. Looks like he's crying.
It does look like he's crying.
Now you can change which pictures show up, and I'll show you that in a little bit also. And then it shows who's been there, the tips. You know, this is just like to give you an example of what the user sees when they pull up all this stuff. So what we're going to talk about as far as business and how it relates to Foursquare is listening, geopositioning, information, and driving traffic. So listening, we're going to talk about listening in the form of tips. So I'm going to go to Farley's. And you can see where I get asked these questions a lot. I'm going to go ahead and click yes, because I'm what's called like a hyper user. So I'm answering these questions, and it's helping develop the...
What does it say? What did it ask?
This says, how was the service here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say awesome, because I'm friends with the people at Farley's. I don't want them to get bad rankings. And did you get good value for your money? I'm going to say yes. But you should know that someone could very easily say, no, this place is awful based on these rankings.
Right.
How clean is this place? I'm just going to X out of this because they're going to keep asking me questions. Okay, so this is the Farley's Irish Pub venue page. Now we know that Farley's has claimed their venue, but this was created by a user, probably Kai.
Yeah.
All of these photos have been put up by users. Okay? So how do you listen? Listening in social media is important from a business standpoint, because whether you know it or not, people all over the internet are talking about your company. They're saying good things, they're saying bad things. And one of the things you want to know is what's going right and what's going wrong with your business. Some of them you can respond to and change, like on Yelp. You can make responses. I don't think you can take them off of Foursquare. I don't have the answer to that. But you can see we have Farley's Irish Pub, whiskey bar, nightclub, 101 Palmer Parkway, etc., etc. Now these are all things that were put in by users. Phone number, directions, etc. Now down here is what we were talking about with the tips. Okay? We caught up? Alright, so we have Paul V made a tip, try the Sam Adams Spring, go for the breaded portobellos, try the Reuben. I say nice pub menu here, I'm addicted to the steak fries. Right? So that's all good stuff in this case. Mm-hmm. But it represents your business. If you're Farley's, you want to know what people are saying. Now, I can also go in here real quick, and I told Jerry I was going to do this, but I'm not going to publish it to my Facebook. This place stinks. Oop, well, you get the point. I had a typo. All right. This place stinks. Now I'm going to publish that. Obviously, that's the most current thing. So if someone pulls up Facebook or Foursquare and they see a bunch of these that say this place is horrible, etc., etc., it's going to be bad for your business. So you want to know what people are saying. I'm going to delete this now, just because I don't want it to stay on Farley's.
And you're the author of it, so you can.
Right. Right. So it's gone. But every time someone makes a comment like that, they can choose to feed it also to Twitter and Facebook. So when you leave a tip or something like that, you can send it to your Facebook.
So if Jerry read that comment and then reached out to you and said, "Mark, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. I want you to come back and have a beer on me."
Right.
And could you please take that comment
I
down
could take it off as a user, or I could go in and like update it.
Yeah.
I had a bad experience, but the owner or the general manager, you know, invited me back, and everything was good. And then you can also you have like a heart and a broken heart, right? A broken heart says I didn't like this place, right? But now I'm going to switch it back to I liked it, and that influences this number, the 7.1 out of 10. That's like it's like a star rating, a star system, basically. So 3 friends have liked this. So it's saying basically 7 out of 10 people like this place.
Can I
Right?
ask a question?
Mhm.
With the listening piece, can you set alerts that every time somebody checks in or somebody leaves a tip that you're notified, or is it you just need to go back and look at your
You
page?
can, and then also in the manager page, which will be on, you can actually pull up several reports, which is based on how many people checked in, when they're checking in, what specials are getting unlocked, and then also as far as comments, we call them tips.
Right. But I believe, Mark, also you can automate that as a summary email that sends you
Right.
executive summary daily, weekly, monthly, whatever.
I get one weekly, for example, from the Golden Lion, and it shows traffic, and it will tell you you had this many check-ins this week, which is this much percentage higher or lower than the previous week, and these special, you know, were unlocked. So yeah, you can get that as an email, and you can choose the frequency. Now, another thing you can do as a user is you can save this to a to-do list, right? So I'm going to save this to Good Eats, right? And my friends can now see this as a, you know, if they trust me as an example of where to go in Flagler County, they'll see that on my list. Okay? So that's the listening portion of the venue management. And at the same time, we talked about geopositioning already in a way. Geopositioning meaning when I'm near European Village, Farley's will show up as an option of a place to go. This is a place you should try. It's close by. Now, if I do a search, I'm going to pull up a way to not do this as far as geopositioning goes. I'm pulling up Kokoro. Now, Kokoro has a problem with their listing, and I'll show you why.
From a listening standpoint, I noticed too, one service I use is Bottlenose, and Bottlenose does pick up Foursquare check-ins, like some of the others don't, but
Right.
Bottlenose will.
Well, it's all public, so it should, right?
Huh?
Foursquare check-ins are all public, so it would, I would
Yeah, but I
imagine.
noticed some of the services don't have that connection built in, but that particular one does, which is nice because you can see and you can, I mean, it just increases your sociability of seeing where people are doing stuff and maybe connect with them.
Okay, so we successfully searched for sushi, and we have Fancy Sushi, Sakura, etc., etc. Now, Kokoro. Kokoro is unique in that it moved from another location.
So did Farley's though, Mark?
Good point.
True, except I think when Farley's was open before, they weren't on Foursquare.
They were.
Were they?
I used to be the mayor of the old Farley.
Now, through a power user's edit, me, I changed Kokoro's address to 101 Palm Harbor Parkway. The problem is,
So they never actually even claimed it then.
wait a minute, this hasn't caught up. Let me,
I see it there.
no, this is not on the, I switched over to another tab. Here's the problem with their listing. If you look at the map, those that know the layout of Palm Coast know that that's nowhere near 101 Palm Harbor Park.
So it's still pulling up on Palm Harbor, the shopping center?
It's their old map location, but the address is correct. The problem with that is if you're in European Village and you say whatever, what's around here, it won't pull it up based on your location, and because it's a certain diameter, like a radius that they pull it up. So if you don't know the area, say you're staying at the condos there, and you pull it up. I want to find out it won't show up. At the same time, it makes it hard to check in because again, it doesn't show up. You have to like manually go search. Basically, they're making it hard for people to check into their venue. They have the right address, but not the right location. So geopositioning, as I call it, is important when you edit your map so that it shows up relative to where you are in that. So they're getting a bad score for their geolocation. Another thing
And
that
to Tamika's question, where are they today? Where are they?
yeah,
Why are they
exactly.
not here?
Again, when you pull up on your phone, when a user pulls up on their phone, it gives them that these venues are popular nearby you. So if you could be standing in front of COWORK,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't list it as a popular place,
Right.
which is a problem because A,
Terrible for a first-time visitor.
for your first time visit,
Yeah.
and also someone like me who trusts Foursquare and the users, that
Right.
crowdsourcing type of thing, to tell me where to go and what's good. If I'm standing in front of COWORK and I say, oh, let's see what they say about COWORK, and nothing shows up, I might go to Farley's instead, because you go to Farley's and it pulls up all these cool pictures and everything is all active about it.
Recommendations.
Right. So that's the geopositioning. While we're talking bad about COWORK, sorry, that just happens to be up here, so it's easy. The next bit is information. And by information, I mean, a lot of people, when they see this Foursquare page, this is their impression of the restaurant or the venue or the business. Now, obviously, the people from COWORK wrote the description. We have the best sushi in town because we use the best ingredients, et cetera, which is okay. I mean, yeah, you're going to brag about it. It seems a little too braggy. But,
Well, it lacks information.
Right.
It reads very opinion, and so they missed a chance to say what they actually offer.
Exactly.
And then I might read something there that really triggers, something I want.
It's a common problem.
Yeah.
It's a common small business problem, right? Being able to describe your business. Elevator pitches and description of business is a common
That's
problem.
totally
right. But
Totally fair.
that's not really relative to Foursquare in this case.
Yeah.
What I want to point out in the information section is what you are. Obviously, I mean, we know they're a sushi bar, so that they've done that part right.
Right,
When can I come eat food there?
right.
Where are you located? Services, hours, etc. Now, here's the big glaring error on this listing. Do you see the hours of business anywhere?
Nope.
That's the problem. For instance, when we were on Office Divvy's, it said closed, or COWORK, it said closed until Monday at 9 a.m.
So helpful, right.
Because it's very helpful. When you pull it up on your phone, if the venue is not open, listed as open right then, it goes to the bottom of the list.
Which is so helpful.
It tells you what's around you that's open,
Yeah.
basically. So COWORK, as far as we know, is never open, right?
Or open all the time?
Or open all the time, one or the other.
Okay.
So if it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, someone would go to say, oh, look, COWORK, this looks great. Look, there's all these comments and everything looks good. They would show up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it wouldn't be open.
Right.
So they may or may not come back, right?
Correct.
That's the thing with business.
True.
So the when is not so good. I haven't clicked on this to see if they have a menu, so let's see. And they do, so that's good.
Very good.
That's good. That gives you an idea. So they do have some right things here, but they haven't changed their location, which is a bad thing. So they do a pretty good job of telling what they have. Unfortunately, they don't have very many check-ins relative
Right.
to other venues. 139 check-ins.
And this was one that was without a special on your map. There's no special.
There's
right?
no special listing.
Okay.
Right. So that's the information segment. We have a few pictures. These are all user pictures. And there's no, you see over here, Fancy Sushi has a 6.1, Sakura has a 6.1. There's no ranking here. So if you're using Foursquare alone to decide where you go for sushi, you'll probably skip COWORK
Right.
at this point.
Which I do pay attention as a user to that.
Absolutely. If I'm in a place that I don't know,
Yeah.
I will absolutely walk out of my hotel room, pull up Foursquare, and see where I should go.
Right.
And a lot of people do. So it's not that they're doing a bad job, it's just that they're not doing a good job. And if you have the option to grab, we'll talk about this in a second, to drive traffic to your venue, you want to have all this information available. So that's Kokoro, and then we're going to talk about driving traffic. So if we go back to the map of places that are near me, again, it looks a little different on your phone. These are my friends. This is where all my friends are. They're all right here. And again, the rankings, etc.
Yeah.
So this time we'll go to nightlife. We'll look for
You know, when
nightlife.
you're not logged in, when you first come to Foursquare in the in this interface, just on in a web browser, Farley's and Humidor come up. It's really nice. I mean, like if I was just like hearing about it for the first time and logged in, it's really nice that, I mean, even though it's sometimes I feel like it's a curse in Palm Coast that not enough people are using.
Okay, so we've talked about listening, geopositioning, information. Now we're going to talk about driving traffic, mainly with specials. So listening to the tips, geopositioning, making sure you're located in the proper place on the map, and then the information, so making sure all of the information that is presented is accurate in what you want to portray to the public. So in this case, we've pulled up cigar bars near Palm Coast, right? There aren't very many. And we're going to go to the Humidor because we all agree that the Humidor is the most awesome cigar bar in the area.
In the world.
But you can see also, though, both the Humidor